Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Score in the players' time as Arsenal have defeated Newcastle by 2-0 after extra time. And as Sam has just rightly clicked, get your comments in, get your ratings in, see if you agree with Mr. Mulliner or Liam. Big welcome to both here, Liam. This is, I think, when was the last time you done score in the players? Is it around about November time, Chelsea Crystal Palace kind of time?
I can't remember. It's been a while, like.
Yeah, but... memorable, some would say.
Well, that's what everyone says about me, memorable. Do you know what I mean? So.
And Mr. Muller is always memorable. If you haven't seen the Green and Mulliner show, I highly recommend it. And we've done 25 episodes already, and that is just the end of the plug.
One coming out this week as well, which we pre-recorded on Friday. But yeah, that's not why we're here now.
Exactly. We might mention it at the end as well. Scoring the players' time, we'll start with Martin Dubravka. Liam, I haven't heard your lovely voice in scoring the players for a little while. I thought Dubravka was brilliant tonight, made some crucial saves. Aubameyang in the first half, Xhaka with that fantastic volley, and he tipped it over the bar brilliantly in extra time. 2 fantastic saves. Is he our number one?
Definitely. I would say he's just got that extra touch of class. I think Darlow is definitely a good goalkeeper, but I think he just brings that extra save that you're not going to expect. I think sometimes his passing's a lot better than Darlow's, but I think he's got a better haircut as well. So,
what would you give?
So I would give him about 7 because I don't think he could have done anything really for the goals, and I think it was his first game back. So
that's a bit.
Samuel umming and ahhing about whether he should be the number one. Do you think that we're writing off Darlow too quick?
Yeah, Darlow's number one. Darlow will be in goal on Tuesday. I mean, Dubravka was superb tonight. It was like he's never been away, considering he's been out for so long. Dubravka, yeah, lovely this time of year. Yeah, I thought he was superb. It was like he's never been away. A couple of cracking saves. 7's probably a bit harsh, Liam. Come on. But it's Darlow's to lose at the moment, and we're very kind of blessed in a way that we've got strength in depth in one position at least.
Exactly. We're very, very fortunate. Emil Kraft at right wing back. Newcastle did play 5 at the back, which was a bit deflating when you first hear of it or when you first see it, because the way that the media team at Newcastle put it out, it looked like it was 4 at the back and Hayden was going to be in midfield. So they were kind of being a bit, I don't know, a bit funny with how the lineup was going to be. But a big battle with Kieran Tierney, Sam. And Tierney was Arsenal's best player for me. Did it make Emil Kraft that bad? No. I thought he did okay, but I think we needed to take him off if we wanted to try and attack and really have a go at Arsenal down that side.
Yeah, defensively, Kraft was fine. I highlighted Tierney in the preview that I did with Lee and Liam last night. He's a cracking player, Tierney. And of course, Aubameyang drifts off to that left-hand side as well, doesn't he? And you're kind of head in your hands waiting for Kraft to get Tor a new one, but he coped okay. Going forward, he didn't offer anything of note, but defensively he was fine, which is why I've gone for 6. Struggled going forward. There's a big gripe I have about the game, which there's not many gripes to be had because there was some decent effort. Like we said in the preview last night, we just wanted to see a bit of a vastly improved performance, which we got. But there was a little gripe, which I'll come on to, and Kraft going forward kind of encompasses that a little bit. But defensively sound, did well. I mean, he kept a clean sheet whilst he was on. So, yeah, fine, 6 out of 10 for me.
Only gripe that I have with Kraft's performance, he drives and then just stops. He shakes and will go backwards and sideways. And we're thinking, come on, have a bit of bottle. Show your balls, basically, and get a crossing if you want to, or just be a bit more braver on the ball. But yeah,
Chevy Balls was last year in the FA Cup at Oxford, I believe.
Memorable, eh? I've got Isaac Hayden, the right of the 3 centre halves. I thought he was brilliant. I don't think he deserved to be in a losing side today. I really don't. Yes, Aubameyang was the only main forward, and he obviously had his moments and obviously scored late on. But I don't think that was down to Isaac Hayden at all. I thought he was superb for Newcastle. He defended brilliantly. It was just a shame that he was in a losing team today, and he's arguably one of Newcastle's best players this season. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 on that performance today. Very unfortunate I'll be on a winning team today for Isaac Hayden. Liam, Jamaal Lascelles, return to the starting lineup. I actually thought he looked a bit leaner. I think obviously with the COVID and probably obviously he was one of the ones that was staying in bed most of the time. Him and ASN, by the look of it, he seemed to be really badly affected by COVID. But he did look rusty, and he was only given 45 minutes. What did you make of his performance?
He did alright, didn't he? I think he had to take that yellow when that kid broke down when they were counter-attacking, but I don't think he didn't do anything spectacular and he didn't do anything seriously bad, so I would just probably go middle of the park with 6. But it's good to have your captain back. It's good because he'll probably cave your head in if you say something to him, so...
Yeah, it's interesting how he went off at half-time because the exact same thing happened with Fernandes when he came back from COVID. I mean, I thought Lascelles, like Jonny said, looked really rusty and he got caught out a couple of times. But at the end of the day, he's just been rushed back from what is a life-threatening illness. So, all things considered, yeah, I think 6 is reasonably fair. But yeah, it's nice to have him back. He's good. He's vocal. That's what we need. That's what we like.
When you look at it now, we've had Lascelles back, Dubravka back, Hayden. You know, the kind of spine was at the back in particular was there, where we haven't really been used to that. Obviously, Darlow's done exceptionally well, but that's the nucleus of what everybody kind of knows with Newcastle. But yeah, I think it was always going to be 45 minutes, an hour max with Lascelles with everything that's going on in Arsenal. I think depending on what the draw, if the draw was a bit different and say it was like a Championship or a League One club, you know, maybe he would have got 90 minutes because he might have been allowed to play 90 minutes because of the amount of pressure that the opposition would have brought. But yeah, good to see him back, as Liam said rightly. I'll let you continue, Sam, with Ciaran Clark, and it's a real shame because that mistake is going to be highlighted on your match of the days, etc. But I thought he was brilliant until that point.
Absolutely gutted for him. Absolutely gutted for him. Immense first half. So unlucky. I mean, that's probably his first meaningful mistake in a black and white shirt in how long?
Exactly.
Maybe his first one ever. Yeah, gutted for him because at the end of the day, it's cost us the game. There's no getting away. I don't know. He was faffing around with it when he should have just put his foot through and fucked the ball off, shouldn't he? He's still got. I'm giving him a 7, which may seem a bit harsh to be fair, but like I said, at the end of the day, that goal's cost us the game. The second one was neither here or there, but I'm gutted for him because he's been superb. He was great for 99% of the game. He'll come again. He'll play on Tuesday. He's been superb. I hope he signs a new contract. He's one of the ones out of a deal in the summer. He deserves a new contract, so fingers crossed. But I'm gutted for him. He's a bit unlucky tonight.
Liam, is that the difference at the top? Arsenal would predominantly know are a top 4, at worst top 6 team, and when you faff around with it at the back, and Arsenal get that slightest glimmer of opportunity to threaten and get their goal, it's the difference between going through and not going through, isn't it?
Yeah, you generally see like the top teams, if you make a mistake, they're going to punish you for it. And it was late in the day. I think I was talking to my pal literally just before. It's like picking who the pen takers were going to be, who the pen takers were going to be, and it's just like that one thing, and you're like, oh well, never mind. I'll get me tea a bit earlier. Do you know what I mean? So
it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's just deflating. I'd like to see who the penalty takers would have been. Actually, it would have been interesting. But again, tough to take for Ciaran Clark. But like Sam says, I hope he gets a new contract as well. Paul Dummett, in my opinion, was a better left central back, left centre back than a left wing back. I think he's more suited in that position. I think he is becoming a more natural centre half than a natural left back, even though we see him as Newcastle fans over the years as a left back. I just think he just looked more comfy, reads the game better. I think left back or left wing back, however you want to put it, I just don't think he offers you anything going forward. I really don't. I think he's very much a bit like a Hendrick. He'll just do your job. He'll just do a defensive job and doesn't really give you anything going forward. But on the whole, I thought he was excellent for Newcastle. In the second half, first half, again, not as good. I'm gonna go 7 for Paul Dummett. But good to see him back. Good to see him get more minutes on the pitch as well. Like you say, 120 minutes is going to do him the world of good. Is he going to play on Tuesday? I doubt it. But it just means that he'll be ready for the next game against Arsenal after Sheffield United a week on Monday. But no, an okay performance last time out against Manchester City, I believe. I think it was Manchester City played on Boxing Day. But yeah, it was good. It was good to see him play and good to see him play reasonably well today. I don't think that Manchester City game's right, but if someone wants to tell me I'm wrong or right, let us know in the comments, please. I'm sure it's Man City. It seems we've played loads of games recently. Who's next? It is Liam. Liam, I'm going to give you Miguel Almiron. Ran his little heart out, bless him. Defensively.
So what?
And that's the big question, isn't it? That's the big question. What can he do to go and basically impact the team going forward? Did we see enough of that in Miguel Almiron tonight?
No, I think he just doesn't take his chances when he's got him. It's like, how long's he been here? Like 2.5 years now. And we're just saying the same things over and over again. He can run, but we didn't pay like 20-odd million for someone that can run. We paid 20-odd million for someone that can put an end product in and score a goal. Like, I could run, do you know what I mean? I could run up and down the line like for 10 grand a week, do you know what I mean? And like
10 grand a week, you should be lucky, aren't you?
Well, you know what I mean? I'm a fuels lad, so you know what I mean. Hopefully, there's a bonus. But like, I just think people always overhype him just because he runs a lot. Like, he doesn't produce the end product at the end of the day. He's an attacker, not a defender or a midfielder. So I'm going to give him a 3. I'm just sick of he always wastes chances. Yeah, 3 for me. Yeah, no, I'm actually not. But like, you kind see he's been good. For me, an attacker is producing end product, and he didn't do any of that today. And he had the chances. He had the chance with some big lad up there to cross balls in, and we didn't see any of that.
Sam, do you disagree?
Yeah, you're so wrong. Worked his bollocks off, and then
so what?
It was the only one. Well, because if you don't, you get run past, and we looked worse when he went off.
But like you're saying, he works hard, but he's an attacker, so like. That it's all like defeats the object.
In a highly defensive team playing 5 at the back, he was our only real major outlet today when Carroll was busy defending, which he was for a large portion of that first half in particular. We looked so much worse off when he went off, and Bruce brought Yedlin on, which was stupid. I thought Murphy. Slightly more attacking than Kraft and actually can cross, can't he, Jonny? And him and Almiron were actually working hard.
All I'm saying on that one, his first cross wasn't very good tonight. We'll mention that later.
Yeah, but no, 3's extremely harsh. I would have.
Do you think he can do more going forward, though, Sam?
Yeah, he does offer a lot more. Looking at the attackers we had on that pitch today, I mean, if you're going to give Almiron a 3, what are you going to give Joelinton?
Probably the same.
Well, no, because Almiron's by far, in a way, better than Joelinton.
Well, just because he ran a bit?
Well, no, everyone ran a bit.
No, but like, why was Miggy better than Joelinton?
Worked hard, grafted, put some crosses forward.
Did more going forward for me.
Yeah. So he worked hard and he grafted, so that's why he's better than Joelinton.
What did Joelinton do?
No, but that's what I mean. He said.
But you said, yeah, but we're giving you points.
What did
Joelinton do?
Next to nothing. So that's probably why I would have given him a 3 as well.
No. Right. Well, Joelinton's soon. It is soon. But Sam, Jeff Hendrick.
I actually thought he was all right tonight. It's amazing what happens when you play a player in his correct position. Who would have thought it? It was fine. It was an interesting battle, that midfield, because Arsenal have got quite a lot of dead wood in that centre midfield, and I think Arsenal fans would tell you that as well. It did okay. There was one frustrating bit where he wasn't reading play, and Richie kind of played him in, and he just didn't read it. Looked tired at the end, but he has just come back from an injury as well, a slight knock. I'm giving him a 7 because I thought he was fine. Him and Sean, shape-wise in the midfield, was a lot better. It was a real issue when John Joe was in there with Sean, but it was a lot better tonight. We had a sound shape about us for the vast majority of the game, which was quite pleasing to see because it was a huge issue beforehand.
Yeah.
See, I thought this was his best game in the Newcastle shirt, me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, possibly.
I'd agree.
Oh, West Ham was probably. his first game.
He got the goal against West Ham, but I think it was a better disciplined performance tonight. Plus, he was on the right-hand side against West Ham.
I would have given him an 8 myself, like.
But you would have given Miggy, but you gave Miggy a 3.
He's lucky he didn't get a 2. You know what I mean?
Get your comments in. Who do you agree with? Do you agree with Sam? Or do you agree with Liam? Get your comments.
Comments suggest nobody agrees with Liam apart from one person.
That's fine. I'm just a maverick, though. Do you know what I mean? So.
Sean Longstaff for me, again, similar to Jeff Hendrick. I thought I was quite worried before the game, considering Sean's been inconsistent at best of times, and God, there's always that one ball in a game. You go, wow, where's that come from? And that was right at the end in terms of that ball towards Murphy, and Murphy plays it back, and obviously we know the rest from there. But I thought it was a better disciplined performance by Sean Longstaff this afternoon. Sam touches rightly about the midfield battle. I thought him and Hendrick dealt with Arsenal's midfield pretty well, considering whose Arsenal's midfield was. I'm going to give him the same as Jeff Hendrick. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I still think he's a better number 10. I still think Isaac Hayden should be in that centre midfield with a partner. But let's see if we can get more improved performance out of Sean Longstaff. Whether he starts on Tuesday or not, I'll be surprised if he's played 120 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Matty and John Joe, because we've literally most of our midfielders have played tonight. So be interesting.
I didn't realise he was on the pitch till 25 minutes in until the commentator said his name. To be fair, I thought the commentator.
I think the second half Newcastle played so much better. Yeah. We had a lot more of the ball. I don't think Arsenal really created that much in the first half, even when Arsenal were probably the better team in the first half. So I think you've got to give credit where credit's due. Oh
yeah, like I thought the actually commentator made a mistake. You know, when it was the Carroll yellow card, he was like, "Oh, it's Longstaff," and I was like, "He's not even on the pitch." And I was like, "Oh yeah, there he is."
You weren't watching a film again whilst the game was on, were you?
Yeah. No, actually wasn't this time.
Right, Joelinton, this is going to cause some debate. If Miggy's getting a 3 from you, Liam, Joelinton probably gets a 1 in that sort of rating.
Me?
In that sort of rating that you're going with, because I was giving Joelinton the 3 in my head.
I was going to give him a 9.
A
-9. 2 for me. Everything just seems to bounce off him.
What did he do of real benefit to the team today?
He was on the pitch. Not a lot, but I don't think him or Miggy offered a lot going forward.
To be fair, I'm not defending you, Liam, but I'm kind of making a point that's slightly in your corner. If ASM and Fraser are fit, they play. Joelinton and Almiron don't.
Does Elliot Anderson play in front of Joelinton, Sam?
I would rather him, but
who was that? Sorry.
Does Elliot Anderson get in front of Joelinton?
Yeah.
£40 million we pay for this player. It doesn't matter if he was a striker, left wing. We paid £40 million, and we've got an academy graduate with that we've just seen for half an hour, 40 minutes, and he's getting in front of Joelinton. That's worrying for me.
Why not? It might give him a kick up the arse. Do you know what I mean?
We've been waiting 18 months for that.
Yeah. But we've been waiting 2.5 years for Miggy to do it. Do you know what I mean? But he would have got like a 4 or a 5 a day. So just because he runs, do you know what I mean? He runs. You know what? Why do they not just put Miggy at a wing back and then he can run all day?
Done, Liam?
He scored against Tottenham last season,
right,
and
he's done one thing. He's done one thing. I can score against Rochdale. You can score against
Rochdale. I said Tottenham. Well,
yeah, but I'm saying
I would score against anybody.
That he scored more than one goal against.
Rochdale's a horrendous example to use because Miggy scored against Rochdale as well.
Miggy scored against Wolves. Miggy has done more than what Joelinton's done.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know.
So it's just winds me up. He plays every game. Joelinton plays every game. We criticise him more or less every single game. He doesn't do enough. Yeah. You sell him at the end of the season. We've given him 2 seasons. You look at Haller at West Ham. They took a massive cut on him. Probably half price. I'll be buzzing. I'll be jumping through hoops if we get half the money back for Joelinton. I know it's not going to happen.
How much do you reckon we'd get from?
We'll be lucky to get 10. We'll be lucky to get 10. And do you know what? I'd take 10. I'd take 10 right now.
It's not his fault though that he got bought for 40 million.
No, it's not. But that's a lot of money for Newcastle United. That's our record signing. It's a lot of money.
Got to be one of the worst signings in Ashley.
Oh, 100%.
I'm surprised he even let it happen, to be fair.
Well, I think it was more to meet the eye in that transfer, but that's for another day, I think. Andy Carroll, brilliant. Just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. He was brilliant. Defensively, he was brilliant. He worked his arse off. He won a lot of first headers. He was a real threat to Mari and David Luiz. He didn't give them a moment's rest. But those two chances you'll be thinking about them tonight. You're thinking, if I put one of them away, we're through. Especially the one at the end. Because 93rd minute, 94th minute, whenever it was, camera lights, action, come on, Andy Carroll, put us through, put us in the 4th round draw. And it's a great save from then. And the first one he has to score. Callum Wilson will score one of those two chances, in my opinion. Yes, he was injured, apparently, so he wasn't going to get risked. But it's just such a shame because he was brilliant. I'd have given him a 10 out of 10 if he scored, but I'm going to give him an 8. It's just the reason why he's not getting full marks is because he didn't score.
Yeah,
Literally, he was that good. It was probably his best performance in a Newcastle shirt since he's returned. Does anybody disagree with that?
Easy. I thought a performance like this was coming, which is why I said on the preview that I would be playing him on Tuesday, and I would have played Gayle tonight. Gayle would have buried them 2 chances. Let's not get away from that. Oh, Gayle, that's his bread and butter. Don't get me wrong, Carroll was
Manchester City FA Cup and the quarterfinal.
Oh, I know, but every striker's had moments like that. You can't hold that against him forever. Move on.
Just saying, that's what Carroll pretty much had in the middle of the second half, 6 yards out.
No, Gale's was worse.
It was, but I'm just saying.
But at the end of the day, Carroll was brilliant. I do agree. He was everywhere, especially. Obviously, we had the better of the first 20 minutes. Then it was backs against the wall for the rest of the first half, and Carroll was everywhere defending.
He didn't stop running.
No, he didn't.
He done a Miggy and didn't stop running. Do you know what I mean?
I tell you what, it answers some questions if he does play on Tuesday about his fitness.
I don't think he'll play.
I don't.
Amazed.
But I think playing.
Carroll's performance tonight has been a lot better than Callum Wilson's in the last 3 or 4 games.
It's not a bad argument.
People are saying, oh, Wilson doesn't get the service, but then Carroll wasn't getting much today, and he worked his heart out. Do you know what I mean?
It's a fair point. I don't necessarily disagree with that at all. I just think today you're talking about the real cut chances, and you mentioned before, Liam, the difference between the top teams and the teams that take the chances, and Arsenal didn't have many chances really in the second half or an extra before they scored the first goal, and then when they get that moment, they put it in the back of the net, and Arsenal are going to be thinking they're getting the 4th round.
There was a few chances where they messed up, where like short passes, and we just didn't have the cutting edge to finish it.
100%. Right, we'll start with the substitutes. Matt Ritchie was the first man on at half-time for Jamaal Lascelles as the left wing-back, and we've mentioned Dummett was moved as the left centre-back of the 3. Liam, his crossing wasn't brilliant today. Had a few corners late on, and if the delivery was right, Ciaran Clark, Andy Carroll, Paul Dummett's not bad in the air. If there was a bit better delivery, we could have possibly nicked it, but I thought it was steady enough.
Probably a 6 at a push. When he put that corner in when it didn't even hit the first man, I think Carroll and Clark were ready to go and knock him out. But it's not. It just I was seeing somewhere that like the Premier League's the worst league, the top league for putting dead balls in. Do you know what I mean? So I think Ritchie. It was probably good to bring Ritchie on for Lascelles because then it's in a mouth. But I think he looked after Anderson well. I think he communicated right well. So. It was just a standard Ritchie performance. Yeah,
100%. Jacob Murphy, a man that we've had a debate about Sam for a little while, but I'll give credit where credit's due. I thought he was decent when he came on today. I thought he gave us a bit of energy when we needed it. Look, he was right back or right wing back for about 10 minutes, if that, before Yedlin came on, which we'll mention in a second. But Nelly created a good chance right at the end for Anderson, and we talked about Carroll's chance, but I thought he was a real threat today.
He was. I'd have liked to have seen him right wing back from the start.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Because in a back, when you're playing wing backs, then you can get away with that. I mean, he got tried in a flat back for a right back, and that didn't work at all. He was horrendous, but I think you can get away with it.
Hold on a second. No, sorry, I'm thinking about somebody else.
Come on, hold on a second.
I thought
that was a quicker U-turn than Boris. But I'm giving.
Do you know what you said about Kraft saying he was the best in the back four? I thought you must have said that about Jake and Murphy, but
no. Yeah, I did say Kraft was the best in the back four, but again, that just tells us how shite we are with right backs.
Yes.
I'm giving Murphy a 6.5. I'd have liked to have seen a bit more. I think he suffered more when Miggy went off and Yedlin came on, because Yedlin was poor, really poor, and they didn't work together as well as Murphy and Miggy were doing. Couple of good crosses. He was probably the best crosser on the pitch in a black and white shirt when he came on, which is again why I would have liked to have seen him from the start, because Richie's crossing was poor. Dummett can't deliver. It's just, this is me gripe that we'll come on to when we do Steve Bruce, but I'm aware we're running out of time because the last word's at 10 past. But
how long have we got? Sorry, actually, we've got 15 minutes, have we?
Yeah. But 6.5 for Murphy, and again, I would have just liked to have seen a bit more from him. And
he's frustrated in the final third sometimes.
I agree, and this is the thing about the crossing.
Not even the crossing, like the cross. Forgetting about the crossing, sometimes he just dribbles and then he just gets into a brick wall when he could have passed it off.
Would you give him a new contract? It's up at the end of the season?
I would.
Yes,
I would, because I don't know what the options are. I don't know what the other options are, but I definitely would give. I'd give. The thing is, you're looking at Jacob Murphy, who'll probably want a 3 or 4 year deal. I wouldn't give him that. But if you say, look, here's a 2 year deal with an option of a third, we'll give you another 2 years to see if you actually can prove it. That you can keep on playing for this team, but with agents nowadays, I'm not too sure. Another player that's out of contract in 6 months' time is DeAndre Yedlin. I've got a sneaky feeling that might have been the last appearance we might have seen of DeAndre Yedlin. I don't know why. I just think Newcastle have got Ronda Aarons out the door, and I think they would probably do the same with Yedlin because they've got enough options in that right back area. Whether they're good, bad, or indifferent is another debate for another day. But he wasn't good tonight. He wasn't good. I completely agree with Sam. I don't know why Yedlin was brought on. Pace was probably the only reason why I can think, maybe to match Tierney's pace. He's obviously just come on the pitch. You'd like to think he was up for the game, and seeing that Newcastle got half a chance of potentially causing a slight upset or big upset in some people's minds. But I don't think it was good at all. But the problem is when you look at the ratings we've already given with Miggy and Joelinton, it's just, I don't know what to give them, to be honest. It's just ridiculous. I'll go 3.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know what you think, Sam. What do you think on this one?
Kraft dealt with Tierney a hell of a lot better than what Yedlin did. And
I agree.
Yedlin should have done better because obviously Yedlin has that pace to burn.
100%. This is the one that Liam wanted to mark, so I'll give it to him. Elliot Anderson, local lad, getting his debut. It was brilliant to see him on, and he looked really comfortable, actually. You know, we talked about an Arsenal team that probably top 6, top 7 team, and he did look out of place. Nearly had the headlines, didn't he, when Murphy plays that ball back in the 93rd minute, Liam. You think, go on, have a shot on target, make the keeper work at least, or go on, win it, and you'll be in the back page of all the big newspapers. But great to see him get given a chance, and hopefully we'll see him in a lot more squads in the next few games, Liam.
Yeah, he's definitely one to look out for. I think Lee mentioned it in the WhatsApp group that he's very good with his feet, like close control, and I think his close control was brilliant, really. Obviously, if he finished that chance, probably half the players would have had a lot higher score, and but I think I'm going to give him a 7. I'm buzzing for him. Do you know what I mean? He comes on, makes his debut, and nearly nicks it forward, but doesn't. So
didn't look out of place either, did he?
No, definitely no. Definitely.
I think he grew with confidence. I think he was a bit nervous when he first came on, and then I think he grew into the game.
I was just thinking when he had that chance right at the end, I'm thinking, is this your Matty Longstaff against Man United moment?
Bit of FA Cup magic. We've had FA Cup magic against us plenty, but that would have been nice.
Took 2.5 seconds for the BBC to put that Hereford goal against Newcastle in the 70s when Sam was just a nipper. So
sod right. My mum was just a nipper.
Dwight Gayle was the last substitution, came on for Andy Carroll, was on for 15 minutes. non-applicable because he didn't really touch the ball. I think he fell over to try and get a penalty, but ran around like Liam could. Liam can run around a bit, so non-applicable for Dwight Gayle. Steve Bruce made changes. FA Cup, I don't think was a priority when that draw came out, and he's seen that it was Arsenal away. It wasn't the lovely Rochdale or an Oxford United. It was the FA Cup holders, and I think he's already written it off when the draw was made, and plus the fact we've got a big game against Sheffield United on Tuesday. Liam, I'll let you start off with the rating. 120 minutes was the worst possible outcome for Steve Bruce's side today, but with the team's effort and performance, with the tactics, where do you look with Bruce's rating?
I think I'm going to give him a 6. I think when you first looked at that team, you looked, we're just going to roll over here. But I think people played with a bit of passion and heart and desire. They actually wanted to win the game. I don't know whether that was because we had Andy Carroll back, obviously starting, and then we had Dubravka in goal. But it seemed like there was a real effort to try and actually win the game.
Fair enough. Sam, where do you stand on it?
I wouldn't go that high. I wasn't overly enamoured with the team because personnel didn't bother me that much. There was just a couple of tweaks I would have liked to have seen because of the major fact, if you're going to play Andy Carroll up front, why have all them players on the pitch that can't cross? Why? It's just absolutely brain dead. Absolutely brain dead. You've got Murphy, as I said before, I would have liked to have seen from the start. Richie possibly as well, and I would have put Dummett in the back three, so you could allow Hayden to go forward and drop back at half time when Lascelles went off. Again, I stick by what I said in the preview last night. I thought tonight was a game for Dwight Gayle, and Tuesday was the night for Andy Carroll to play up alongside Callum Wilson. The game was there for the taking. On a positive note, it was a lot better performance-wise, structure-wise. It's one of the. It's frustrating, but encouraging in a way. But you just got your head in your hands with his tactics once again, because for the life of me, I don't see what he was trying to achieve with playing the way he wanted to play. And Joelinton is a big issue again now, because it's like we're playing with 10 men.
No.
What would you have given him?
4.
I'm going to go 5. 5 was generally my score. I was going to go straight down the middle. I was going to sit on the fence, as Lee likes to say about me. I'll mention him in a second. 5 out of 10 for Steve Bruce. The reason why I think it should be a 5 is because I think the actual effort and the players I think they were giving their all. And the element of that has to be something down to the manager in terms of what he's saying before the game. You know, a lot of people would have said, look, Arsenal could easily win this by 3 or 4 by the way they're playing in the way that we are playing, because we haven't won a game since we beat West Bromwich Albion, which seems like a long time ago. It is a worry now because that's 7 games without a win. And then we've got Sheffield United, which is a huge, huge game of football. Joelinton is an issue now. How he cannot start. He cannot start against Sheffield United. I don't see what he brings to that team now, because he just doesn't bring anything. Doesn't bring us anything going forward. Gives us the slightest bit defensively, but he just the lad just there's no confidence, and there's so many players in that squad that are ahead of him. Saint-Maximin's ahead of him, Fraser's ahead of him, Murphy's ahead of him, Almiron's ahead of him, and Elliot Anderson's probably ahead of him.
I'd bloody love if Fraser just popped up in the starting 11 on Tuesday.
I think he is. I think he will be. I think it makes sense as well, because Sheffield United are a wounded animal. Yes, they've won the first game today, but it's Bristol Rovers in the FA Cup. They need to win this game. We don't necessarily need to win this game, but they need to win this game. They've got any chance of survival, and they'll look at this game as a big, big chance.
The favourites. The favourites.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And it'd be just typical Newcastle, a bit like the Derby 07-08 season. And like you said, Sam, you don't know who Sheffield United's version of Kenny Miller is, but we might find out on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. But 5 out of 10 for Steve Bruce. Get your scores in for Newcastle's manager. Will we see any new players from now at the end of the January transfer window? Who knows? Who would you like to see us strengthen in what position? And talk us about Joelinton and Almiron. It was a bit of a debate on this one, on this score and the players as well. Like this video if you don't mind, and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV and Newcastle Fans TV. Actually, we're very close to 24,000 subscribers, actually. So if we can get that little push before maybe the January transfer window, that'd be lovely as well. But my thanks to Mr. Sam Mulliner.
Thank you. New Greenwood and Mulliner show out on NFTV Extra this week with former Newcastle midfielder Brian Kerr. So do check that out. Of course, he was in the Champions League squad in 02-03.
And a big thanks. Pardon?
Is me on goal?
Yeah.
And Brian Kerr's nephew. Thank you very much.
See you later.
The man in the gown will be back soon, I can imagine, with his thoughts on Joelinton and Almiron in the very, very future. But stay tuned. Lee is back with the last word very, very soon on Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0. And then we're back all again Tuesday afternoon, evening, or Tuesday evening by the time the game finishes against Sheffield United. We'll have all the reaction to the videos there. So hopefully we might have a better result to talk about. But from the three of us, we'll see you all very, very soon.